Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to You Did Not Know This. Well, thank you so much for your commitment and thank you for being here and continuing to expand your knowledge on concepts, whether it's vocabulary or speed math. Let me quickly say hi to Sunil, Priyanka, Sulekha, Kritika, Harish, Chetan, Richa, Maithili, Vikram, Kundan. Okay, I know there were a couple of more people earlier, Monica. So a very good morning to all of you. Thank you for taking the time to be here today. I mean, that's an exaggerated reaction, but I'm guessing most of them felt this way in the IBPS PO Prelims exam, especially while attempting the English section. And why is that? New question pattern, spot the error, right? I mean, I don't quite agree that's a new pattern altogether because, I mean, the concept that was covered basically in the new pattern, the so-called new pattern spot the error was phrasal verbs, right? Now, phrasal verbs is something that I've covered earlier as a concept for fill in the blanks, and I've also covered that in one of my other videos, Quick Tips for the English Language, which is available on YouTube again. So if you haven't checked that out, you can do that. If you are not familiar with this new pattern, not to worry. That's exactly what I'm going to focus on in today's session, right? So this will be something that you no longer did not know. Sulekha, just refresh at your end if you're not able to see me. Hi, Irfan. So I'm someone who will not stand animal abuse for. I'll say that slowly. I'm someone who will not stand animal abuse for. Something sounds a little awkward and wrong in that sentence that I just said, right? Let me try that one more time. I'm someone who will not stand for animal abuse. Now that sounds correct and makes sense. Do you know why? Because I did not separate the phrasal verb in my last attempt. Are you able to identify the phrasal verb? Stand for. I'm someone who will not stand for animal abuse. So stand for in that context just means I'm somebody who will not put up, I have zero tolerance for people who abuse animals, right? That's what it means. So I'm assuming some of you are already familiar with phrasal verbs, but there are separable and inseparable phrasal verbs. So if you have no clue about that, I'm going to start from scratch, which means I'm going to start from the beginning. First length. I just couldn't resist that. So I'm going to take exactly 2 minutes to explain this, what phrasal verb is, and then we'll get into, what are separable and inseparable phrasal verbs. And the most important part is for us to understand how to transfer this knowledge and be able to identify the right answer option in our exams, right? Exam focused questions. So that's something that we'll definitely spend time on. Okay, so come with me. So quickly, just a little bit, Deepti, that's good to know. So quickly, what are phrasal verbs? We know that it's a verb plus either an adverb or a verb plus either a preposition combination, right? That's right. Ready, you're right, right? So having said that, can you quickly think of phrasal verbs? You already know this, so can you just quickly list out some phrasal verbs that you're familiar with? I'll also list out some that I'm familiar with, right? We'll take it from there. Take after, put on, fall back, look into, right? Can you think of phrasal verbs? Write down, randomly putting down get off me, get off, call on, right, drop in, right? So now let's put this into context, right? Take after. So let's say Vikram takes after his father. So Vikram takes after his father. So what does it mean here? Takes after his father means he takes care of him. No. So what does takes after his father mean? He's just like him, right? Vikram is like his father. That's what it means. So here I can't say Vikram take his father after. That doesn't make sense, right? So take after is an inseparable phrasal verb. I can't separate the phrasal verb. I can't say Vikram takes his father after. Wrong. So Gurpreet takes after does not mean takes care. I was testing you guys there. Takes after means he is just like his father probably in his appearance, in his mannerism, in his behavior. Okay, put on. So Richa put her sandals on. Right? So put on literally means what? Richa just don it, right? Don again, not the don in the movies, but don means to put, like don your clothes on, right? So put on. So here I can still say Richa put on her sandals, right? So here I've separated the phrasal verb put on. So it's a separable phrasal verb. I can either say Richa put on her sandals, or I can say Richa put her sandals on, right? To wear, correct, Kritika. Fall back. Fall back. Think of example sentences quickly. What can fall back mean? Let me say, okay, when my company delayed in paying my salary, I fell back on my savings, right? So what's fall back here in this context? I fell back on my savings. I used my savings, right? It was an emergency. I did not get my salary on time, so I had to use this cash. It was an emergency. I had to use this. So fall back, right? So can I say I fell my savings back? No, I can't say. It doesn't make sense, right? Which means what? It's inseparable. I can't separate this particular phrasal verb, fall back. When my company delayed in paying my salary, I fell my savings back. Incorrect. I fell back on my savings. I was able to use my savings in that emergency situation. Yeah, so Rivum, what the meaning that you're giving is also right, because one phrasal verb can have different meanings in different contexts, right? Fall back can also mean like the troops fell back, which means your meaning, they retreated. Look into. Let me look into the problem. Let me look into the problem and get back to you. Right? Let me look into the problem. So look into here means what? So can I say let me look the problem into? No. It sounds weird. It's an inseparable phrasal verb again. Let me look the problem into? No. Let me look into the problem, which means what? I'll probably, examine it. I'll pay close attention to it. I'll figure out what it is. Yes. Investigate. Correct, Varsha. Right? So inseparable. I can't say let me look the problem into. Doesn't sound right. What about write down? As simple as, I wrote your, Maitil, I wrote your number down. I wrote your phone number down. Right? I can either say I wrote down your phone number or I wrote your phone number down. Right? So, which means write down is separable. I can separate this particular phrasal verb. The object is coming in between the phrasal verb, write down. Get off. Get off again can have different meanings in different contexts. So if I said, a particular friend of mine, he did something, he shoplifted, but then the owner of the shop did not do anything, right? He just let him go. So my friend got off scot-free, right? Got off is the phrasal verb here. And I can't say my friend got scot-free off. Incorrect. I cannot separate this phrasal verb. Inseparable. Are you following? Inseparable, right? Call on. Call on, let's say I called on my friend. Which means what? Call on here can mean maybe you're paying a visit. Yeah, Richa, in your sentence, get off my case as in, don't keep annoying me. Just let me just be. Don't pester me. Okay? So again, different meanings in different contexts. Call on here means like paying a visit. So can I say I called my friend on? No. Incorrect. It's inseparable. I can't separate this phrasal verb. You can also call on someone, asking them to help you with something. That's also okay. GK, they say it both ways. Get off of me is literally somebody like on you physically, right? Trying to pin you down and weigh you down. Drop in. I just dropped in, like paying a visit unexpectedly to someone. Or there's another one, drop off. Somebody actually mentioned that earlier on the chat, right? Drop off also is another phrasal verb. So if I can say I dropped off. I'm just using the example that one of you gave, right? I dropped off my son at play school on my way to work. Right? I can also say, I dropped my son off. That's also possible. I'm separating the phrasal verb drop off. Yeah? Called off. Yeah. So there are a lot of phrasal verbs that you guys are giving me as examples. Yeah? Which is great. Now, like I said, okay, just for Vikas's sake, right? Call on means to pay a visit. I've already mentioned that, so let me just not be repetitive. Right? Paying a visit, or it can also mean I dropped in to have a cup of coffee with you. That's fine, Gurpreet. But drop off would be inappropriate there. Okay? So just to answer Varsha's question, right? How to identify which phrasal verb is separable and inseparable, you really need to know them. You need to know them in context and see which sounds right. There are certain separable phrasal verbs, there are certain inseparable phrasal verbs. You just have to go by context, right? There's no mantra or shortcut method to figure out how to identify which phrasal verb is separable and which phrasal verb is inseparable. There is just a list of it which you need to know. These are the separable phrasal verbs, these are the inseparable phrasal verbs, and that's it, unfortunately. right? Udaya, that answers your question. It's the same question as Varsha's. Now, like we said, right, one phrasal verb can have different meanings in different contexts. So let's take the example, the last one, right, drop off. Let's look at that. So if I say, I dropped off during the movie and I just woke up for the credits. So I'm watching a movie. Credits is where they acknowledge everybody who's contributed, right? All the stunt guy, the costume designer, the makeup artist, everybody's names are put up in the credits. So I dropped off during the movie and I woke up only for the credits. So in that context, drop off means I fell asleep, right? The same thing I can say sales has dropped off for the last few months, right? Sales have dropped off for the last few months. There again, we're talking about decrease in number or amount. So one phrasal verb can have different meanings in different contexts. This is something that we need to continuously understand and apply, right? We need to have knowledge of this. No, it's not, Vikram, to answer your question. Okay, let's go back. So this is something that I wanted to mention. Now, let's quickly look at some questions. A lot of you gave some examples, that's great. Okay, thanks Gurpreet for answering Ravneet's question. Let's look at the first one. Which of the phrases 1, 2, 3, and 4, anybody is able to recognize these questions? Apparently, these were the sort of questions that came in the IBPS PO prelims. So I have them in front of you. Now, please pay attention. There are two patterns to this, okay? The first pattern is where everything is around this concept of phrasal verbs, right? Both these patterns. So the first one is either you identify which is correct, what's correct from the options, grammatically and structurally what is correct. The other variation was identify which option is not correct, not grammatically correct or. So there are two versions or there are two variations to this question. Let's look at both. All right, sorry guys, just wanted to make sure. Are you able to hear me? I thought I lost you guys for a second there. Richa is saying 3. Okay, Richa is probably answering the question that was put up. No problem. Some of you have joined in a little late, like Stallion, and so you're still answering the previous questions. That's right, Vikas. So these were apparently some of the questions that came, and I thought it'll make sense because this is the phase where all of you are taking the IBPS PO prelims exam, right? Some of you have completed the batch this weekend. The rest of you are still having slots the coming weekends, right? So let's quickly look into this. Okay, I have Monica, Bala, Ajit, Deepthi, Mohan, Ravneet. Most of you have come back and said option C, which is option 3. Couple of you have said option 2. Let's see which one is the right answer. Manikandan, hi Manikandan, good morning. Okay, so here we go. I always run Molly at the mall in 2, okay? So most of you, the options, obviously what is highlighted is Molly at the mall. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have Molly at the mall into Molly into at the mall, into Molly at the mall, Molly at into the mall. So we're looking at the phrasal verb which is run into, right? Okay. So run into means what? I met my friend, Molly, right? So I kind of bumped into her by chance. That's what it means, right? So you either to meet or find by chance, run into. So I met or I bumped into Molly, right? So which means I can't separate. Is this separable or inseparable, this phrasal verb? Any idea, Monica? What do you think? Do you think this phrasal verb is separable, inseparable? Guess. If most of you are saying a particular option, what do you think? Yes, it's an inseparable phrasal verb, right? Gurpreet? Correct. So you can't separate this phrasal verb. So wherever this phrasal verb is separated, so you have something in between run and into is incorrect. Right? Mostly the first option is the same as what is there in the context. So anything that comes in between run into, you need to remove, right? And we're looking at, please note that more than one phrase can be correct, so mark accordingly. So far it's only option 3. So that's C. So most of you got it right, right? So it's an inseparable one. I'm going to change the color. I don't like this color. Okay, let's look at the next one. Where's that shirt I lent you? I need to take back. Where's that shirt I lent you? I need to take back. So the entire thing is there. Let's read. Option 1, where's that shirt I lent you? I need to take back. I need to take back what? I need to take it back, the shirt I lent you. Where's that shirt I lent you? I need to take it back. I need to take back the shirt I lent you. Okay, so basically we understand that the phrasal verb is take back, right? So looking at the options, do you think this is a separable or an inseparable phrasal verb? It's a separable or an inseparable phrasal verb? Okay, great, Rahul, that you're right. What about this one? What do you think? Separable, inseparable? Jagdish, it's pretty simple. Separable phrasal verbs are where you can separate them, right? Like this one right here, take back. So I can either say take something back, right? Or take back something. So I'm basically saying take back is the phrasal verb, verb plus adverb combination. I am bringing in this something is my object. Right? So I'm saying I can bring in an object in between take and back, which means I can separate that. So that's separable. Some phrasal verbs we saw that it is inseparable. I can't separate them, right? Okay? So which one is the answer, do you think? All of these, both 1 and 2, both 2 and 3, both 3 and 4, none of these. So which is grammatically correct is what they're asking. So where's that shirt I lent you? I need to take it back. So when you, especially, yes, Deepthi, you're right. So especially when you're changing that, this it is referring to the shirt, right? So when you have a pronoun, you have to put it in between the phrasal verb. I need to take it back. So this is another thing that you need to keep in mind. If there are pronouns, they have to come in between the phrasal verb. Just note this as a point. Right, so this is also correct. I need to take back the shirt I lent you is also correct. So which is that option that gives me that? Option D. I don't know how many of you said D. I only see Gurpreet. So 1 and 2 is incorrect. Why is that? Where's that shirt I lent you? I need to take, what is missing? Pronoun is missing. I need to take it back, the shirt I lent you is incorrect, right? I need to take back the shirt. You can't have both the pronoun and the shirt in the same context. Either you say I need to take back the shirt I lent you or I need to take it back, right? There's no need, so this is redundant here in the same sentence. So that's why option 2 also is incorrect. Are you following? So the only option that is correct is 3 and 4. Where's that shirt I lent you? I need to take it back. Yes. And I need to take back the shirt I lent you. It's a separable phrasal verb. I can use it both ways. So basically, in this particular example sentence, exactly. So in this particular example sentence, all you're saying is, I gave it to you, right? You borrowed it from me, I want it back. So another Sally mentioned an example, right? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to say what I said. I take it back. In that context, what meaning does it give? To retract. You're taking back what you said. Yeah, take back can have another meaning also. Okay, just hold on one second. So, reiterating the fact that one phrasal verb can have different meanings, we already saw 2 different meanings of take back. Right? Any other meanings that you are familiar with for take back? Nasima, yes, right. Banu, Nasima Banu, you're right. Any other meanings that you're familiar with? I'm just paying attention to okay, Varsha got it. Take back your words. Yeah, that's what Stallion also had mentioned. Clear. Okay, I'm thinking of something here. हम जो चलने लगे हैं ये रास्ते आहा मंजिल से बेहतर लगने लगे ये रास्ते. Now that song takes me back to right after my college days. Right, so in that context, what does it mean? Take back. Nostalgic. I feel nostalgic. Taking me back to, right? So that's another meaning of take back. Let's get back. I threw away the old pizza. I threw away the old pizza. Here again, threw away is the phrasal verb, right? So, can I also say I threw the old pizza away? Yes, I can say, right? So, which means it's a separable. So, the phrasal verb that we're looking at is threw away. It's separable. Shishant, good to know. Right? So, in the context, can you identify out of 1, 2, 3, 4, which of the options is correct? I threw away the pizza, yes. I threw it away, also yes. You think so? Yeah, I threw away it. I threw the old pizza away, this is also fine. So, except 3, right? Why is that? Yeah, why is that so? Because we just saw when we are substituting the, subject or object with the pronoun has to come in between the phrasal verb, right? In between the verb and the, so this is verb plus adverb. So, threw it away. I can't say this is correct, not threw away it. This is wrong. So, because of that, the answer is, so which is the right one here then? Option C. Except option 3, everything else is correct. 1, 2 and 4. So, what you need to, Pandian, not D. D has 3 in it, no? We are saying 1, 2 and 4 is correct. So, it has to be option C, right? So, sometimes what happens is, we are able to identify the right option, but then we choose the wrong sequence here. So, it's extremely important for us to pay attention and choose the right option, so we get our full 1 mark and not lose out even after getting the answer right. Now, this is another variation. So far, we looked at find out which of the options are correct, right? But here, let's read the direction. It says, in the question given below, there is an error in one or more sentences. Please select the most appropriate option out of the 5 options given for each of the following sentences, which in your view is grammatically incorrect or structurally incorrect. So far, one pattern is find what is right. The other pattern is find what is wrong. Let's read. The detectives came some new clues across in their investigation. The detectives came across some new clues in their investigation. Option 3, the detectives came out some new clues across in their investigation. Option 4, the detectives came some new across clues in the, it's all over the place. Out of these 4 options, I have to find the ones that are incorrect or structurally incorrect. So what is the verb is came, across, right? So we have came across, which is our phrasal verb. So is only option 2 incorrect, or only option 1, or only option 3, or only option 4, or both 1, 3 and 4 except 2? Which one is correct? Right, Manikandan, you're right, right? We are looking at which is grammatically incorrect or structurally incorrect. So here, can I separate this, came across? It's an inseparable phrasal verb. If I separate it, the meaning is awkward. So anywhere came across is not together is where our answer is. So 1, 3 and 4 is incorrect, and that is in option E. Yes. So Varsha and Richa and Divagar, correct. Yeah? So in the context, came across means what? They happen to find. Came across can also have a different meaning. So I can say, I come across as rude because I have no filter. I don't think twice before what I say. I just say it. So sometimes when you do that, you might offend somebody or you might hurt someone unintentionally. So I come across as rude. So in that meaning, what does came across means? How people see you, how people view you, right? So that's another meaning of come across. Let's go back. Let's look at one last one. The new employee finally turned up at noon. The new employee finally turned himself up at noon. The new employee finally turned it up at noon. The new employee finally turned at noon up. Select the most appropriate option. So obviously we know that the phrasal verb is turn up. Turn up. So in the context, what does it mean? So the new employee finally turned up at noon means he arrived, he appeared, right? That's the meaning. And by the way, turn up is intransitive. We know intransitive does not take up an object. Remember, we had a session on transitive, intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs take an object. Intransitive verbs do not take an object. If you missed that session, go check out my previous sessions on vocabulary. We've covered that, right? So if that is the case, in this context, I really can't separate turn up when it gives this meaning, arriving or appearing. So and so turned up. So and so did not turn up for class today, right? So in those contexts, like if I said Raj didn't turn up for class today, right? Turn up here means same thing. He did not arrive, he did not appear, he did not come. So here, when it's giving me that meaning, I really can't separate this. And that's the meaning that's giving. So if anything is separating this, then it's wrong, which is what? So I want to find out, Please select the most appropriate option out of the 5 options given for each of the following sentences, which in your view is grammatically incorrect or structurally incorrect. So anything that says except 1, yes, Arpita, you're right, 2, 3 and 4. Right, all the others are incorrect. Why? Because it is separated by either a pronoun or something else, a prepositional phrase in option 4, right? So everything, but the same turn up, when it's giving me a different meaning. For example, if I say, hey, I love this song, turn the volume up. Turn the volume up, please, right? In this context, when I am talking about increase in volume, look at that, it's getting separated. Either I can say turn up the volume or turn the volume up. Either ways is fine. Increase in volume. So, not enough that, there are separable phrasal verbs, there are inseparable phrasal verbs. Depending on what meaning the phrasal verb gives, sometimes it can either be separable or inseparable. So, how will I register all of this? Only through example sentences. I need to apply them. You can either say turn up the volume or turn the volume up, right? Depending on the context, it becomes either separable or inseparable. So, the only way to kind of figure out the application of phrasal verbs is through example sentences. So, lots of work. I mean, there are lots of phrasal verbs, right? If you take just one verb, you can have like at least 7 to 8 phrasal verbs around with just that one word. So, it's important for us to continue to expand our knowledge on phrasal verbs. So, hopefully, this session would kind of ease your apprehension about, approaching this sort of a pattern in your exam. Again, reiterating that once you are aware of the concept, if you come across this particular question type, it will no longer pose a challenge. So I want you to, at least for those of you who are yet to attempt your IBPS PO prelims, you will have an idea of what this question is all about, and you will look for the error pertaining to phrasal verbs, now that you are aware, if you weren't earlier. Yeah, that's correct. Yes, greatest lover. That is correct. Take your shoes off and take off your shoes. Both are correct. It's a separable phrasal verb. Okay, so yes, IBPS clerk is around the corner. We're aware of it. We will have sessions around the same as well. So gear up for that. Those of you who haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that so you don't miss out on these sessions. A lot of you came back and said, we're not even aware that these sessions are happening. It's happening at 11, right? So please follow your notifications, or check your mail, and then you can be a part of these sessions. All right? So all the very best, again, for those of you who are yet to take your IBPS PO prelims exam. And we will hear from you, and I will see you guys in the next session with another interesting concept. Take care. Bye-bye.